There will come a day when life stops whispering and starts shouting. When every excuse you've ever made begins to echo back at you. When the voice inside your head asks a question you can no longer ignore. What if the only thing standing between who you are and who you could be is you? That's the moment that separates the talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the builders, the believers from the achievers. It's not fate, it's not luck, it's not timing, it's ownership. Because at the end of every story of greatness, you will always find one person who decided, I am done waiting, I am done blaming, I am done hiding. There is only one person responsible for your success or your failure, and that person is you. You are the author. You are the builder. You are the breakthrough you've been waiting for. And the moment you accept that, your entire life begins to change. Most people never do. They keep waiting for a miracle, never realizing the miracle was already breathing inside them. But you didn't come this far to live small. You didn't survive everything you've survived just to blend in. You came to awaken something deeper, something stronger, something unstoppable. So this is your awakening. The reminder that your life will only move when you do. That no one is coming to save you, because the hero was always supposed to be you. Then it flows naturally into, it's a heavy truth, but it's also the most liberating truth you'll ever accept. Part 1, the lie we were told. Since childhood, we've been taught to depend on approval, depend on timing, depend on luck, on connections, on the right moment. We were taught to wait for opportunity, for permission, for motivation. But waiting is the slowest death you'll ever experience. Waiting steals years from your life without ever making a sound. You don't notice it happening. You just wake up one day wondering why nothing's changed. And it's because we were never taught that responsibility is freedom. We were never told that the moment you take full ownership of your life, you gain complete control over your direction. When you say, it's my life, my decisions, my results, you stop giving your power away. You stop letting people, situations, and emotions run your story. You realize something profound. The moment you take responsibility, you become dangerous, because no one can manipulate a person who owns their choices. The shift happens the moment you say, it's on me. Everything changes when you whisper those 3 words, it's on me. When you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do about it? That's the day your life starts moving. See, responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself for every mistake or misfortune. It means accepting that no matter what happened, you still have power. That's the key difference between people who grow and people who stay stuck. Those who stay stuck replay the past like a movie they can't stop watching. Those who grow use the past like a lesson, then they get up and move. Because life doesn't respond to complaints, it responds to action. And the moment you take responsibility for your life, you send a message to the universe that says, I'm ready to build, I'm ready to rise. And you'll be surprised how quickly things begin to align. Part 3, the power within you. There's a version of you that the world hasn't met yet. A version that's disciplined, fearless, and focused. A version that doesn't need to be motivated because they've built something stronger, momentum. But that version of you will never appear by accident. You have to awaken it. And awakening doesn't come from comfort. It doesn't come from feeling inspired for a day. It comes from confrontation, from standing face to face with your own excuses and saying, no more. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you awaken a little more of your potential. Every time you choose effort over ease, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more. And eventually, that becomes your identity. Confidence doesn't come from saying, I'm great. Confidence comes from evidence. The evidence you earn every time you do what you said you'd do. That's how you build real power, not through motivation, through consistency. Part 4, the hidden cost of not taking responsibility. Let's talk about what happens when you don't. When you live your life without taking full responsibility, you start to believe that someone else controls your outcome. That belief is poison because it quietly erases your ability to change. When you blame others, you hand them your power. When you blame your past, you give it authority over your future. When you wait for permission, you train your potential to sleep. And soon, you start living like a passenger in your own life, watching time move, watching others grow, while convincing yourself that someday your turn will come. But here's the truth. Someday is a myth. There is no right time. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And if you can't move now, you won't move later. Because the muscle of accountability doesn't grow with time. It grows with use. Part 5. The silent enemies inside you. If you want to change your life, you need to know your real enemies. They're not people. They're not circumstances. They're habits of the mind. The first is excuse. Excuses sound smart. They sound logical. But their purpose is to protect your comfort zone. The second is fear. Fear doesn't always scream. Sometimes it whispers. It tells you to wait. It says, "You're not ready yet." It disguises itself as logic, but it's really self-doubt in a suit. And the third is comfort, the deadliest of them all, because it doesn't feel like an enemy. It feels like peace. But comfort is a cage lined with velvet, soft enough to stay in, tight enough to keep you small. The more you feed those three, excuse, fear, and comfort, the further you drift from your true self. To awaken your potential, you have to starve your excuses and feed your discipline. Part 6, the mirror test. Stand in front of a mirror, not for vanity, not to fix your hair or adjust your clothes, but to look, truly look, at the person staring back. That person is both the reason you haven't become who you want to be, and the only one who can change it. You can't lie to that reflection. It knows what you've been avoiding. It knows the promises you've broken to yourself. It knows how many times you said tomorrow and meant never. But here's the beauty of that reflection. It's also where your redemption begins. Because when you stop avoiding your reflection, you stop avoiding your truth. And when you stop avoiding your truth, you begin to reclaim your power. You realize it was never the world that doubted you. It was you that doubted yourself. The world only mirrored back what you believed within. So when you change the way you see yourself, the world will begin to see you differently too. Part 7, the awakening. Every great transformation begins with a decision, a quiet, private, deeply personal decision. I'm done living below my potential. It doesn't start with applause. It starts in silence. It starts on those nights when no one's watching and you choose to try again. You choose to write that plan. You choose to study instead of scroll. You choose to take a step even when fear tells you not to. That's awakening. It's not loud. It's not flashy. It's spiritual. It's when the old version of you starts to dissolve and the person you were meant to be begins to emerge. And make no mistake, awakening is not comfortable. It's not easy. You'll lose friends. You'll lose old habits. You'll lose the version of yourself that was built to survive so you can meet the version built to succeed. You'll start to crave peace over drama, growth over gossip, purpose over pleasure. And people won't always understand it, but that's okay. They don't need to, because this chapter isn't about being understood. It's about becoming aligned. Part 8, the price of ownership. When you take full ownership of your life, something strange happens. The world starts testing you. Obstacles appear, doors close, people doubt you, not because the universe is cruel, but because it's preparing you to carry what you've asked for. You see, success without struggle collapses, strength without resistance weakens, and faith without challenge fades. So when life pushes you, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Every setback, every delay, every closed door, they're not punishments, they're preparations. The universe doesn't test your words, it tests your consistency. It asks, do you still believe in yourself when no one else does? Do you still move when no one's clapping? Do you still show up when it feels pointless? And if you can answer yes again and again, that's when you earn your breakthrough. Because growth isn't about proving yourself to the world. It's about proving yourself to yourself. Part 10, the reward of responsibility. Now let's talk about the reward. When you finally accept that you are responsible for your life, you unlock a kind of peace most people never feel. Because suddenly, you stop waiting for apologies that never come. You stop expecting others to fix what they didn't break. You stop handing people the remote control to your emotions. You realize that power isn't in control. It's in clarity. And that clarity makes you magnetic. Because confidence is quiet. It doesn't shout. It walks in, grounded, focused, and ready. People can feel it. They can sense it in your presence, in your eyes, in your silence. That's the power of a person who owns their story. A person who says, yes, I've failed. Yes, I've struggled, but I'm still standing and I'm still moving. That kind of person becomes unstoppable, not because they never fall, but because they never stop rising. Part 11, the unseen, transformation. The world will always see your success, but it will rarely see what it cost you. They won't see the nights you questioned everything. They won't see the mornings you dragged yourself out of bed when your soul felt empty. They won't see the tears, the rejection, the waiting, but that's okay. They're not supposed to, because the real transformation happens in the dark, when no one believes in you yet, when you're the only one clapping for yourself. That's where character is born. That's where discipline grows. That's where the foundation for greatness is built, brick by painful brick. So when the light finally shines on you and people call it overnight success, smile, because you'll know the truth. It took 1,000 nights to rise in one day. The final awakening, a call to action. Listen to me. This is the part they never tell you. You can read 100 books. You can watch 1,000 motivational videos. You can listen to every guru, every podcast, every speech. But until you decide deep down in your soul that your life is your responsibility, nothing will change. The world won't stop for your potential. It won't pause for your pain. It keeps moving. And so must you. You've been waiting for the perfect time, haven't you? Waiting for more confidence, more money, more clarity, more signs from the universe. But the truth is, the universe has already given you everything you need. It gave you breath. It gave you will. It gave you choice. And choice is the greatest power a human being will ever have. Because every day you wake up with a decision to repeat or to rise, to settle or to strive, to be a victim of your past or a creator of your future. And that decision, that small, quiet decision, determines everything that follows. There's a version of you that this world hasn't met yet, a version that doesn't doubt, a version that doesn't seek validation, a version that doesn't break when life gets hard, because it knows the storm was never meant to destroy it, only to reveal its strength. That version of you is waiting. It's waiting behind your excuses. It's waiting beneath your fears. It's waiting for the moment when you finally say, enough, no more running, no more waiting, no more blaming. It's time. Because no one is coming. No one is going to hand you the life you dream of. The world gives you the raw material. You are the builder. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's unfair. Yes, it's exhausting. But it's also beautiful. Because the same fire that burns away your weakness also forges your strength. The same pain that once broke you teaches you endurance. The same failure that embarrassed you becomes the foundation of your wisdom. That's what growth looks like. Messy, painful, and absolutely necessary. So if you're still breathing, you're not done. If you're still dreaming, you're not finished. If your heart is still beating, then your purpose still matters. You don't need permission. You don't need approval. You just need to start. Start where you are, with what you have, and with every ounce of faith you can find in your chest. Because Every step you take toward growth, even the smallest one, moves you closer to the person you were born to become. And when you finally rise, not because someone told you to, not because life forced you to, but because you chose to, that's when everything changes. People will notice something different about you. They won't know what it is, but they'll feel it. They'll feel your presence, your peace, your quiet power. Because a person who has taken full ownership of their life walks differently. They speak differently. They love differently. They move with conviction because they've already won the hardest battle, the one against themselves. So, this is your moment. The moment to take back your story, to stop replaying old pain and start writing new purpose, to stop living as a shadow of your potential and start walking in your power. You owe that to yourself. You owe it to the younger you, the one who once believed that anything was possible. You owe it to the future you, the one waiting on the other side of your courage. This is your awakening, not tomorrow, not someday, now, because the clock won't stop. And the longer you wait, the heavier your potential becomes. So rise, not for applause, not for validation, but because you were never meant to crawl when you were born to stand. Rise because there's fire inside you that refuses to die quietly. Rise because you've spent too long shrinking yourself for a world that benefits from your silence. Rise because life doesn't change when you wish for it. It changes when you act for it. You are the author. You are the answer. You are the power. And one day, when people ask how you made it, you'll smile. Not because it was easy, but because you'll finally understand the truth that changed everything. There was only one person responsible for my success or my failure, and that person was me.